All right, Neil, we are live. Thank you so much for taking out some time, my man.
Thank you for having me.
Let's jump right in. Let's talk about Duchess, right? This is now, if I'm not mistaken, your third film with Charlotte Kirk.
Yes.
I'm saying, okay, so tell us about how this all came about and and how you worked with her for now this third time coming up.
Well, it was the third film we shot, but it was actually the first film we kind of conceived together. That was
Oh,
back in 2018. We were eating sushi together and talking about gangster movies. And at some point, we were like, "Why don't we try doing a gangster movie?" And I think it was Charlotte who said, "What about a female Scarface?" And that was the seed was planted, and then it was like, "Okay, we'll go away, develop that, knock the ideas backwards and forwards, write a script." And keep it going from there. And it just developed and developed and developed. And then we ended up making The Reckoning, and then we ended up making The Lair, because we already knew that Duchess was going to be slightly more expensive to make than those. And ultimately it was slightly more expensive. But yeah, so then we finally got to make it in 2022.
oh, it's awesome, man. I love it. And I guess tell us about some of the beautiful locations where the film was shot. I mean, I was kind of blown away by some of the locations. I was like, wow.
Well, it was like a lot of British gangster movies are very much kind of dull. It's dull, it's dreary, it's rainy, it's London, it's the East End of London, whatever it is. And I was more inspired by films like Sexy Beast or The Italian Job or something like that, which is like, why don't we like go to somewhere exotic and make a movie for a change? Um, so we ended up in Tenerife in the Canary Islands, which worked for the story as well. The original intention, what it was going to be set in Cape Town in South Africa, but that proved too expensive. So we ended up going to Tenerife in the Canary Islands because they had a really good tax credit and good incentives. And the first thought was to use that to double as Cape Town, but you can't double Cape Town. So I said, well, geographically, it's still in the right zone anyway for smuggling diamonds out of Africa. So why don't we just set it in Tenerife, which is so much easier for everybody. And then from that, as I said, we found some great locations in Tenerife.
Wow, that's incredible, man. Well, it's beautiful. Some of the shots I was like blown away. So I'm
I mean,
also yeah, no,
uh,
totally, man.
you talk about there's a sequence in the desert,
Yeah.
but what you can't see is that piece of desert is a little sort of canyon that's right at the end of the runway at the airport. So like every 5 minutes there was a huge jet flying overhead, but it was like when you're in there, you feel like you're in the desert.
I love that. That is so cool, man. And I'm also a big Event Horizon fan. So it was cool getting to see you work with Sean Pertwee again. Uh,
Absolutely.
that's pretty awesome. He's one of my favorites. So,
Well, that's our fourth collaboration, so it's
oh,
just it's just
that's
it's
so
kind of
cool.
like just getting to work with your mate. So I love having Sean and stuff. I like to give him a new character to play every once in a while.
Oh yeah, no, he was badass in this. Having him be like the henchman, I dug it. I thought it was a great role for him. So,
Yeah.
and I also kind of loved like the voiceover, like kind of naming each character, giving you like a chance to learn about everyone. Was that always part of the film?
Definitely. I mean, obviously, like massively inspired by the likes of Tarantino and Scorsese, and the way that Scorsese in particular uses voiceover. But I wanted to think, well, how can we bring some kind of a British sense of humor to it as well? Not only like from her point of view, meeting these kind of larger than life gangster characters, and like what's her attitude toward that? She kind of doesn't give a shit,
Sure.
so she's open to sort of taking the piss out of these guys, which is like a very British thing to do. So I just thought it was funny to introduce characters and also undermine them at the same time.
I love it. That's super cool. So, I kind of feel like Duchess could be like a franchise, you know what I mean? I don't know, just watching it, I'm like I could just see this girl coming back and kicking ass, again and again. Any thoughts about that? Am I too far and am I not allowed to say
Well,
anything?
no, not at all. It's just as a filmmaker, I don't want to hex anything by jumping the gun. So I mean, there was a point where Charlotte and I got into an argument about it because she was like saying, "Can we put part one on the film?" like the Duchess Part One. I was like, no, 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 because you're totally like hexing it if you do that. It's so presumptuous. Let's just wait and see how the first one does, and then who knows what's possible.
Sure,
But there's yeah,
sure.
there's always possibilities.
I love that, man. That's so cool. And for you, right? You've done a lot of great horror. I mean, I gotta bring up, geez, if I don't say it, Dog Soldiers, Descent. I mean, those are two of my favorites, going, back to the early 2000s, going from like horror to like this kind of like gangster movie. What was your biggest challenge?
I love genre hopping. I love going from genre to genre. I'm a movie fan, not just a horror fan, but all kinds of genres. I mean, and working in the television space, I've got to do sci-fi and westerns and demons and all sorts. I've done pirates. I've done Game of Thrones. So this is just another genre to kind of tick off. I've always been a huge fan of gangster movies and crime thrillers. So it was an opportunity to do that kind of in the world. Weirdly, it didn't occur to me, but this is like the first film that I've done that's set in anything resembling the real world. There's no fantasy element, there's no horror element, there's no sci-fi element. It's just like real people in a real contemporary world.
That's
So that was
awesome,
it.
man. Well, that's really cool. Well, I want to spread the word about Duchess. I want to thank you for taking out some time, Neil. This has been a
Thank
real
you.
pleasure for me, and I will be spreading the word about this film. We'll get it out there, and
Cheers.
hopefully we'll chat again soon. All right.
All right, man. You take care.
Thank you so much. You have an excellent day.